this is Jamie Magritte. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. So let's get started. Get my supplies here. I'm going to be using this part of the Wintry 3D embossing folders. I'm using the Snowflakes, these ones here. And this is the Stitch Snowflake dies. I've already cut them out. There's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cut those out already. I'm going to be using this die here from the basic border dies, the cloudy looking one. I'm using Sparkle of the Season for the sentiment. May the sparkle of the season warm your heart and home. I'm using the smallest of the longer, skinnier rectangles from the Stitch Rectangles dies. I have a scrap of white cardstock to stamp the sentiment on. I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of window sheet. This is just a template so I know what I'm doing. There's 2 of them here. One of them was to cut out the snowflakes, but this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I forgot my card base. Then I have my card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this piece here and this embossing folder, and I'm going to run it through the embossing folder twice. I'm going to run it through once here, then I'm going to move it over and run it through over here. And I will be right back. Okay, there's the first run. See, I've got that much. And I'm just going to put it in over here. Get that last little bit of it. And I'm going to run it through my machine again. Okay, I got that done. See, it doesn't look bad at all. There's a couple that are partial, but that's alright. Now I'm going to take, there is supposed to be 2. The second piece here, and I'm going to, and this is also 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Take this snowflake one, and I'm going to line it up here and run it through, and then I'm going to line it up over on this side and run it through. Just want to make sure that this bottom edge here has a little bit here. You don't want it to be off like that. You want to make sure you have enough there. And I'm just going to use this template of the one I did before so I know exactly where I put it. Basically like that. And I'm going to tape it there and run it through my die cut machine, and I will be right back. Okay, now I've got that cut. I need these outside pieces. I don't really need this inside piece. And I'm going to go like this. Okay. I'm going to use tear and tape for this. On the back sides of these, I'm going to put some tear and tape. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to bring in a bone folder, burnish those down, because it makes it much easier to get the liners off. Any of these edges that's hanging over will just fold back over on itself. Okay, we're going to bring in that piece of acetate. I don't know if you can see it. Let me bring in something to put under it. Can you see it better there? Maybe. Okay, I'm going to take these backs off. And any of these edges that are sticking out, just roll them over so that they're rolled back onto itself so they're not sticking out. Okay, and one of them is going to go at the top edge. I'm going to line up those edges. Okay, and then the other one will go at the opposite corner. Sorry, I'm being awful quiet. Oops, let's roll that piece behind. There we go. Alright, that's the hardest part. Okay, now we're going to bring in this piece. We're going to bring in Pacific Point and Night of Navy ink and a blending brush. And we're going to ink this up. It kind of picks up on all of those height areas, but it adds color below it as well. So I'm just getting the Pacific Point on all of it. So okay, I think it went a little bit darker here. This embossing folder has some areas that pop up and some areas that pop down, so it's kind of neat. And then the Night of Navy. Now this we're going to concentrate on this top corner and this bottom corner. I think my Night of Navy might need re-inking. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to Oh, I need a Pacific point. So let's clean this off. I'm just going to use a spritz of my Stampin' Mist. Okay, now on this, I'm going to bring in that Sentiment from the Sparkle of the Season stamp set. I'm going to stamp it on this scrap paper. And then I'm going to take this die and cut it out. And I will be right back. If you don't have the die, just cut it out, rectangle around it. I just realized I forgot to turn my camera back on. So what I did was I adhered this piece to the blue layer with dimensionals, and then I adhered the entire thing onto the front of my card. Okay, now it's time to add these snowflakes. I'm sorry about that. And I should have probably put that adhesive backing on these, but I didn't. So we're just going to use the Tombow. Actually, I think I used glue dots, so let's just bring in glue dots. And I put a glue dot right in the center of each one. This one, I had to roll the glue dot. I used a couple of them. See? And I rolled it into a log, basically. See the little log there? So I just did 3 of them there. Okay, this will get dimensionals on the back of it. This will go here. Now we need to add some jewels. I don't have many left, but go ahead and use these. And I put them in the centers. The ones, some of them. I'm going to go ahead and do it like that. So there's 5. There you go. So again, I put dimensionals on the back of the snowflake or of the cloud pieces and adhered them to the front of the window sheet. Or I put, let's start that again. I put the tear and tape on the back of these and adhered it to the front of the window sheet. Then I turned it over. And on the back of this, on the back of the window sheet, I put dimensionals and mounted that on top of the piece we inked. And that whole thing went on the front of the card. I think that's the part that is going to be missing out of my video. And then I decorated it. There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.